Hey, listen, I know we done been debunking this dude like it's no tomorrow, but today, I think today might be the knockout punch, bro. Today might be it don't get no realer than this. After this video, if you're not convinced that this dude is the fraud of all frauds, I don't know what to tell you, man. Let's get into it. Now, as we know, the Woman King movie in theaters now, you already know, and Tariq Nasheed on the front lines talking about boycott the Woman King movie, right? Just yesterday, we already done debunked this dude trying to push some European propaganda regarding African spirituality that he knows nothing about. He could have just asked someone in the Caribbean or asked someone from Africa what the hell that meant, but he went with the European source. It's all good. It is what it is. Pushing misinformation, pushing propaganda. But today's gonna prove he's the fraud of all frauds. If you're looking at my screen right now, you see Tariq Nasheed at a recent interview he did at No Jumper with the homie Flacco. What up, bro? You know, Tariq Nasheed claims he hates black immigrants, but the homie Flacco, I believe he's West African. But you know, it is what it is, man. Dude is a fraud of all frauds, contradictions upon contradictions. But if you look at Tariq Nasheed's left arm, I believe on our right side, right, you would see that he has a tattoo of what is called a VIVRE. Now, a VIVRE is a symbol in Haitian Vodou, and the symbol that is tattooed on Tariq's arm, I believe, is the symbol of the deity known as Ogu. Now, Ogu goes by many names, but in general, he's known as Ogu, also known as Ogun, spelled O-G-U-N or O-G-O-U. Ogun is a Yoruba deity which has been adopted into the Haitian Voodoo pantheon. Everybody knows this. This has never been a problem, right? But the Yoruba were notorious slave traders on the west coast of Africa, particularly known for attacking the Dahomey. The reason why there are so many descendants of the Dahomey in the New World is due to slave trading by the Yoruba. And the reason why there are so many Yoruba descendants in the New World is due to slave trading by the Dahomey. As we know, these were rival factions, rival nations that were at war for many decades. In fact, the Dahomey was essentially a colony or a tributary state to the Yoruba for many decades as well, I believe close to 100 years. And if I believe correctly, the reason behind the boycott for the Woman King movie is because the Dahomey were a slave trading society. Even though that was one aspect of their society, they were also into agriculture, they were also into many other industries. But of course, we want to distort the historical account and say that they were a society that lived and died on the selling of slaves, when that is not the case. We also leave out the fact that it was the Yoruba that had his foot on the neck of the Dahomey for many decades, close to a century, until the Dahomey had to fight essentially a war of independence to assert its sovereignty against the Yoruba. Fast forward to today, in the 21st century, the vast majority of Yoruba descendants reside in Brazil, and the vast majority of Dahomey descendants reside in Haiti, Dominican Republic, Trinidad, parts of the United States, etc., etc. For close to 100 years, the Yoruba forced the Dahomey to pay them taxes, many times in the form of slaves, meaning that due to their status as a tributary state, or essentially a colony, they had to literally give up their family members up to the Yoruba so they can be sold off to Europeans. And this went on for decades until the Dahomey said enough is enough. And that is when the prey became the predator. That is when the person you were bullying came to school with a gun one day and shot you in the head. That's exactly what happened. But for some reason, Tariq Nasheed has no problem with the Yoruba slave traders. No, that's all good. You know what I mean? That's all good. But where he draws the line is when the Dahomey grabbed their machetes, grabbed their guns, and came riding down on the Yoruba. That is where he draws the line, and that is why he launched a boycott. Now, for someone who claims to be so disgusted by pre-colonial slave trading societies, I'm not sure why he would have that tatted on his body. Because you could come to Haiti today in the year 2022, and you will see Dahomey flags in certain areas. You go to Gonaive, you go to certain voodoo temples, you will see the Dahomey flag next to the Haitian flag. And the beauty of Haiti is the merging of various African cultures. You see how we've adopted certain spiritual elements from the Yoruba and the Dahomey and the Igbo and the various different tribes and the Congo, etc., that we've descended from, and we've all merged it into one brand new culture in the new world. And we've forgiven all of our ancestors for any mistakes that they've made, because we communicate with them and we understand them, and we understand that if we were around in the year 1715, I would have been frontline invading the Oyo. Hell yeah, you goddamn right. You mean to tell me the Oyo came through, sent my mama into slavery, sent my pops into slavery, sent my baby sister into slavery, and I'm not gonna be on the front line riding down on them at 2 a.m, cutting their heads off, slicing their throat? Ah, man, listen, I know it's in my blood, bro. I know it's in my blood. I'd have been front line. And me, I communicate with my ancestors, bro. So I understand their point of view. and I forgave them for their mistakes. And I understand the situation they were in at that time, especially with the limited information that they had, you know? So you would never see me trying to insult my ancestors on the world stage. Hell no. Hell no. But like I said, a lot of people, you know, they didn't reach that level of mental maturity. They're walking around with voodoo symbols on their body, but they talking about boycott the Woman King movie. These dudes is clowns, man. These dudes is clowns. And we got to expose them for the clowns that they are, and the audience that follows them for the idiots that they are. It is what it is. It's your boy Neferkari Dessalines back in the building. Yes, indeed. And I'm gone. Peace. Hold up. How I'm going to do the video, and I'm not going to explain what the hell Ogun is about. Let's get into it. Ogun was originally associated with fire, blacksmithing, and metalworking. His focus has transformed over the years to include power, warriors, and politics. He particularly likes the machete, which is a common offering in preparation of possession, and machetes are sometimes featured in his VIVREs. Ogun is protective and triumphant. Many credit him with planting the seeds of revolution into the minds of Haitian slaves in 1804. Each of the many aspects of Ogun has their own personalities and talents. One is associated with healing and is seen as a combat medic. Another is a thinker, a strategist, and a diplomat, and many are machete-swinging warriors. So yes, there's nothing wrong with Tariq Nasheed having a tattoo of Ogun on his body. Listen, Ogun is one of our deities. That's a black god right there. But listen, you cannot associate with the black gods. You cannot venerate the black gods and disrespect the nations and societies from which the black gods originate. It is what it is. You got to get that removed off your body, bro. You got to get that removed off your body. You don't rock with West African societies. You don't rock with the Dahomey. You don't rock with the Yoruba. You don't rock with the Mandinka. You don't rock with the Soninka. You don't rock with the Zulu. You don't rock with the ancient Egyptians. You don't rock with the Kanembu. You don't rock with them, bro. You can't rock with them because essentially, like you said, they sold slaves, correct? Right? You know, even if they were getting revenge, it doesn't count. You don't give them the benefit of the doubt. So you got to get that removed off your body. That's my word of advice to you. All right. Get that removed off your body. You're looking crazy right now. Talking about boycott the Woman King, walking around with Ogun on your body. So maybe you are a Yoruba descendant with some ancestral beef with the Dahomey. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know, you were a Yoruba slave trader back in the day, you know, and you're reincarnated now for your revenge. You know, you were a Yoruba warlord and the Dahomey came and sliced your throat. You know what I mean? And deleted you, you know what I mean? Bashed you over the head with a machete. And you know what I mean? You came back to life in the 21st century and now you mad and you back on the hunt. You back on the warpath against your ancestral enemies. I get it. I understand.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching me blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This shit is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.